This is Arise, a simple story developed by Piccolo and published by Techland. Arise is a kind of third-person platform game. You take on the role of this dead caveman, I think. I thought he was a Viking at the start because the trailer was like setting the boat on fire and pushing him out to sea kind of thing. No, it wasn't. That's not true at all. It was setting him on fire on a pyre. Yes, it rhymes. Anyway, he's not a Viking. Whatever. He's a caveman, I think. And you're in the afterlife, and you're basically reliving important moments in his life and seeing them from a different point of view and that kind of thing. Gameplay-wise, it's a little bit different to kind of normal platformers. You still have the kind of moving around and jumping on stuff, and some stuff is springy and some stuff you can swing from and so on. But you don't have control over the camera. The right analog stick changes or kind of scrubs through a timeline of what's happening in the level. So it has like how you can move platforms and stuff is you just move them through time. Or you can scrub forward and backwards to get yourself into a position so you can progress, things like that. So the puzzles can range from just standing on a platform and scrubbing through with the right analog stick to move yourself across, or changing the seasons in the environment so that more snow piles up so you can reach a platform, or changing it so that a spider web appears so you can bounce on it, that kind of thing. It's interesting, and it definitely lets you take the puzzles kind of at your own pace. Later on, they do start to introduce more dynamic elements that kind of fight against your scrubbing, but it's never to an extent where you're overwhelmed, so you can definitely take your time with the game. And it seems to be more of a meditative thing, just with a bit more gameplay than you normally get in these kind of games. These kind of games tend to be walking and looking at nice things and, having the feelings and emotions and stuff, but not too much in the realm of gameplay, whereas this is still doing all of that, but also giving you some kind of decent platformy stuff. It won't scratch the kind of itch if you're looking for something like Mario or Crash Bandicoot or something, but it's good enough. I'm enjoying it anyway, but there's a lot on my plate for games at the moment though, so it's gone a little bit to the back of the pile, but I'm interested in getting back to it. I'm playing this on my PS4, but I believe it's on PS4, Xbox and Switch, and I think there's a PC version as well, but I'm not certain on that. This is Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition, developed by Beamdog. So this is the enhanced version of the original game, Neverwinter Nights, which was released in 2002, developed by BioWare. This is a Dungeons & Dragons property. It's based in the city of Neverwinter. There's a plague ravaging the city, and they've sent out a call for adventurers. But there's something up with the plague. It appears to be magically based, which means someone appears to be attacking the city, and it's your job to find out, yada yada yada, etc. So this is a favourite game of mine, the original Neverwinter Nights, when I played it back in 2002. It's based on Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition rules, advanced 3rd edition rules, rather than 5th edition, I think is what they're up to now. So it's going to be a little bit different if you have started playing Dungeons & Dragons recently, you might see the rules are a little bit different. But the game does its best to kind of hide the dice rolling and kind of randomness of Dungeons & Dragons, and it just lets you get on with the storytelling, role-playing and combat, that kind of thing. You'll notice the game, despite being the enhanced edition, still looks, not great. You can definitely see washed out textures and pointy polygonal models and things like that. Not a whole lot you can do about that. The game itself wasn't necessarily a looker at the time. Its particle effects, like spell effects and things like that, were what it was best known for, and for its ability to be modded really easily. So there is a mod kit with the enhanced edition, but only on Windows. So if you get this on console or mobile or whatever, you won't have access to the mod kit. But you will have access to the main campaign, the main Neverwinter Nights campaign. You'll also get 2 expansion packs, Shadows of Unwent Tide and Hordes of the Underdark, which are both really, really good expansion packs. You'll also get access to a couple of premium modules, which are basically fan-made campaigns that were really, really good. So they got the seal of approval from BioWare at the time to be considered premium modules. Essentially, you paid for them. Some of them were really good, though. I recognize a lot of the names on the list. There's lots of hours of gameplay in there if you can put up with the not so great looking graphics if you're comparing it with modern games. Some other issues I've come across is it's really clunky to play with a controller. Definitely a mouse and keyboard game if you can get your hands on a mouse and keyboard for a console, or just get it on PC. You miss a couple of the premium modules on PC, but you do get the mod pack and the Dungeon Master pack. So depending on what you're looking for, in that case, if you're just looking to consume just really good content, then console is the way to go. But if you want to make your own campaigns or run your own campaigns, PC version would be the way to go on that. I'm getting a good hit of nostalgia playing the game, like the sound effects, the music, that kind of thing. I am looking forward to get back into it. If I can just wrap my head around the controller controls, I might actually just bite the bullet and go buy it on PC again. Anyway, Neverwinter Nights, I think, was €49.50, I think. Anyway, it is on pretty much everything, but do check what actually comes included in the version that you're buying. Some things aren't on mobile, some things aren't on console, some things aren't on PC and all that jazz. This is Vampire: The Masquerade, Coteries of New York, developed and published by Draw Distance. Coteries of New York is a visual novel based on the Vampire: The Masquerade tabletop game, so it's somewhat similar to D&D, if you like. It's like dice rolls and that kind of thing, but vampires and modern day and all of that stuff. But the visual novel doesn't really go into any of that. There's no like leveling up or like weapons or combat or that kind of thing. It's it's all like a story. You're playing a role. You are role playing, if you will, but it's hiding all of that stuff. We're not hiding it. I mean, Neverwinter Nights hides it in essence, that you don't necessarily see the dice rolls happening, but Coteries of New York just doesn't have them. It's a straight up visual novel, heavily text based. You're just reading a story and choosing the prompts to come back with based on how you feel the character would respond in that sense, or maybe to engineer a particular response that you're looking for, something like that. So you're going along with the story as that stands. It's kind of basic, like it's a standard visual novel kind of thing, except like vampires. So if you're particularly interested in the setting of Vampire: The Masquerade, then it would probably be interesting to you. But I think if you're not, then it's not doing anything especially new. It might be a decent setup for the next full Vampire: The Masquerade 2 video game, but I would actually suggest you just play the original Vampire: The Masquerade game to get that, or find someone to run a campaign of the actual tabletop game. Yeah, there's nothing I can really say particularly great about it. It's not bad either, it's just very middle of the road visual novel. Art is just, it's decent, but it's like nothing wowing me or anything like that. Coteries of New York is currently available on PC only, but it is slated to come out for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch later on in 2020. This is Wattam, developed by Phenomena, published by Annapurna Interactive. Wattam is the latest game from Keita Takahashi, who's responsible for Katamari Damacy and what the fuck is that game where you stretch and you go to the moon? Nobby Nobby Boy. Anyway, similar to Takahashi's previous games, this game makes no sense, but it's still fun to play. You just sort of play around. High level, you're the mayor of this land, I guess, and you just go around befriending various objects, trying to bring them back into the world. At the beginning of the game, it stated that everything has disappeared. By interacting with different people and befriending them and playing little mini games and stuff, you gradually bring more and more things back in. So the first thing you bring back in is a rock, and then a boulder, and then grass, I think, and then the sun disappears. No, the sun reappears, and then the spotlight disappears, so the spotlight's gone now. And these are all characters who somewhat have their own personalities. I think you find trees, and then a nut grows into a tree, and then fruit appears at some stage. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of fun to play. And then a toilet appears at some stage, and he flushes people, and when he flushes them, they turn into poops. And then now you've just got poops running around the place. And then I had a golden poop at one point. I don't know how that happened. And then I climbed on a tree, and the tree didn't like it, so he threw me off. But then I had a bomb under my hat. Look, this is a lot of weird shit happening in Wattam, and I don't understand any of it, but it's funny. It's cute, and it's kind of chill. You're just playing. Like, it's very much play in its most basic sense. There's not exactly an entire goal to the game, so much as just making friends with various things and doing things with them. I don't know. I mean, you can have a look at the footage here. You can understand the game just as much as I can from that. Anyway, Wattam is a kind of budget price game. It's on PS4 and Windows PC. Check it out if you're into really, really weird shit. Someone will be there when I come home, when I no longer want to wander alone. I wish you would come back to me. I want you to come home. Those are some of the games I played for December 2019. Not too many big standouts really. Arise looks like a kind of meditative experience that you can kind of just chill out to. I'll be looking to go back to that at some point, but not right now. Neverwinter Nights, I was actually really hyped to play it, but then I got the controls and they're just so clunky. It's just really hard for me to actually stick with it. I don't know, I'm bouncing off it really hard, so that's kind of disappointing me. Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York is just kind of boring. Like, the story isn't really grabbing me, and that's kind of all the visual novel has, so I'm shrugging. You can't see that I'm shrugging, but I'm shrugging. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. Wattam, I think I need to read on what is actually required in the game, because it's just messing around and very formless and objectionless somewhat play that I'm not really in the mood for right now. I could see myself getting in the mood for it, but I'm just not at the moment. I'm not. So that was for December. January, not looking too much better, to be honest. There's kind of a cool down in the market since Christmas, and then they're all kind of ramping up for February, March, and I think March might actually kill me this year. There's so much coming out on it. But yeah, for January, basically the next month portion is going to be empty here because I don't know what I'm going to do in January. Looking at the release schedule, the only thing that actually interests me is there's some Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, but it's DLC. I've already done Kingdom Hearts on the channel. I'm not going to do it again. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to be on it. There will be a video. I just don't know what it'll be. I might take some of the bigger games and give some more thoughts on them. I've been playing a lot of Death Stranding. When I did the video, I had played very little of it, but now I finished it, so I might give some more thoughts on that. And some other games that I've had similar experiences with earlier in 2019. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time and all the way into 2020.